Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ukulele Underground podcast. My name is Aldrine Guerrero, and joining me are Mr. Aaron, the voice, Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai, the legend, Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
Yeah, we're here, right, Kahai? No problem, no nothing. The podcast is starting. People are seeing us. The live chat is working. Everything's all good, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. So, for all of you folks who listen to this just as a podcast and stuff, they're like, I don't understand. You have to watch one of these live tapings, like one of these days, just to see, I'm looking in the corner of my eye, like just noticing the panic sometimes on Kahai's face, and I'm just like, oh, just keep going. Even if it stops, I'm just going to keep going because the podcast people are still listening to this. But yeah, you guys got to catch one of the live shows one day, if you can. But we are here, and how Ukulele Underground podcast works is you guys ask us questions, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. I'll try to answer as best as I can, and then I'll toss it over to the other two guys. They'll give their own 2 cents, 5 cents, 10-cent answers, and then we'll try to put it together. We got a nice quarter for you, okay? So, sometimes we don't get questions. Sometimes we just kind of talk story. Most of the time we just kind of talk story. And if not, we'll do some fun stuff. Like we do some songwriting challenges, some spicy eating challenges, some whatever it may be. We have fun here. So that's really all it is. It's a nice, fun podcast where we talk ukulele. I know there's a lot of different podcasts now. Back then it was like the OG K-Town Heroes podcast. Mm-hmm. And then there's like Stu's ukulele podcast up in Denver. I think that was like the only 2 podcasts that there were.
Yeah, for ukulele.
Yeah, now it's like it's good. More content the better, because I was kind of looking for content. It was either listen to myself or listen to Stu. Now I have all these other people to listen to. It's great. But yeah, ukulele podcasts for the win, Kahai, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. See, I like that confident yep yeah. sound that you're making instead of a yes.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
Definitely not to hide that I am still setting things up. Yep, it's all good.
Yeah. But anyway, the 3 of us are here, and we're ready to help you out. So Kahai, give me the first question, bud.
We had that the cliffhanger from last week. So the cliffhanger again was from Heart Ukulele, and she said that she just got a new concert ukulele. Mm-hmm. It's a custom concert, and everything seems to be going great, but she noticed that there was a slight indentation/bump on the back of the neck, right about where you place your thumb in first position. It's not visible to the eye, but you can definitely feel it, and it's bothersome to me when I try to play the uke. It feels like this area of the uke might not have been sanded down evenly. Other than the bump, everything else about the uke is awesome. So she wants to know is, that said, though not technically a defective instrument, it still feels weird to me when playing it. Have you ever had a situation like this before with an instrument, and how did you go about resolving things without creating hard feelings with the seller? Thanks so much for the advice, and apologies for another long question.
Okay. No need with the apologies and stuff. I mean, I would ask that question too if I had gotten it's a custom instrument, right? You said.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if it's like a custom instrument, you had your heart set on this thing, and it's and you've been waiting for it for months, years, maybe even, I don't know how long you've been waiting for this instrument. You finally get it, and then you find that there's a small imperfection because you put your thumb there all the time, and that means you're constantly reminded that that there's a defect in your ukulele, and that's not something that you really want, right? You had your heart set on this thing. All of a sudden, it's not what you thought it was going to be, and yeah, that's tough. I'm glad you didn't say who it's from, but I would be I would be kind of sad as well. You can take take comfort in the fact that it probably won't affect the sound at all. It's probably just like a feeling. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it. If it's just a small little indentation in there, as long as it's not maybe a bending or anything like that would change the intonation of the ukulele, that might be kind of bad. But for the most part, if it's just an aesthetic thing, it's not too bad. I think the more or the sooner that you kind of that you accept your ukulele's flaws. Like I think the better, the more fun you can have with the instrument. But I would let them know. So that's one of the things. Like, hey, love, I would kind of write them a letter or an email and just be like, hey, love everything about my ukulele. I did notice this one part. So just in case that they can do something about it, like maybe they will. If there's completely nothing they can do, then it's one of those we just gotta face the facts that that's how it's going to be. But if there is something that they can do on their end to fix whatever issue that you're having, then that would be great. But at least let them know. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't have to come at them kind of like, hey, like I thought this was gonna be perfect or whatever. It's just, yeah, you know what I mean? You don't want to be that person because a lot of the times these ukuleles are handmade and these human errors do exist. Even in the highest of brands like Kamaka, Kanilea, Koloha, there's going to be like little little bits of like human errors that's going to happen, and that's just it. I've been to all those all the ukulele factories that they have like a pile of stuff that they quality control wise couldn't let out. But this is a little bit different because yours is a custom order, so if there is just one tiny thing or one tiny flaw that they might have missed, it's not like they can just make a whole nother one of those and then give you that one. So I understand where you're coming from, but I would let them know just so that
Yeah, actually, I like reading back. I think she said it's handmade, but I'm not sure if it's custom. So I guess that might be something.
Okay, yeah, because if it's custom, that's what I would do. Is be like, hey, I ordered this or whatever, and then this happened. I mean, even then, if she's the first owner. If that's if that makes sense. If you're the first owner, definitely still let them know. Like don't be afraid to let people know because it's not like you're coming, as long as you don't come at them like with malice or anything like that. You're like, hey, disgruntled customer. As long as you're coming in like, hey, love the uke, love how it looks, love how it sounds, just like how you were telling us basically. Like, but there is this one little thing, and it's where I put my thumb all the time. Is there something that we can do, or something that that we can fix this with? If not, then it is what it is. But at most they can probably take it back and fix it. Like they maybe pay for the shipping, sand it down or whatever, and then just redo it. Because if it's just the neck, it's not that big of a of a fix, and I think they can sand down and refinish a neck no problem. But if it's like on the body, that's a little bit different because that does mess with the thickness of the top or of the sides and back and stuff. So that maybe is a little iffy. Neck wise, it might be doable depending on what I can't. Did she send pictures?
No, she just asked the question. So
okay, but as you play through it, because right now I'm feeling that I don't know if you can see this, but this ukulele has kind of an indentation in the back. Can we show that?
Is that from you?
Well, I don't know what the right angle is to kind of get that. There is. I can't get it, but there is, like right here. Ooh.
Yeah, I've had ukuleles where there's
like an indentation.
Okay.
Okay, maybe. All right, I lost it. See, like it's easy to lose. It's there. You can kind of see. You can kind of see that.
Like you hit it somewhere.
Hey. Hey, I did not. We do not say that on air. No. I probably did. I probably like put it down and maybe like it fell or something and hit it. So it's not a defect, but I'm just saying that there is, a indentation here on the neck of my ukulele that I use all the time. It doesn't, it's character. I mean, it doesn't affect the sound of the ukulele or how it plays or anything like that. So, although I feel it because my thumb is back here all the time, just like you. But I just kind of like, hey, it's character, I guess. Like, that.
Yeah, I've dropped a bunch of instruments and had pretty much exactly that on the
right.
neck.
But it is different if it's like a custom-made ukulele. You're just
if
like,
it's brand new.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
That's just how you got it.
Hey, and who's to say like if it's them too, like the builders, right? Who like. They miss a spot or something. It could be like, if it's an indentation like that, it could have just been from shipping too. Like it just got kind of bumped around a little bit and something happened. So yeah. And I'm sure like if you explain to them that you got it that way, any good manufacturer or any of the like reputable brands will be like, oh yeah, we'll take a look at it at least.
Or, at least or something. Like, just don't be afraid to reach out. So it's not like, as long, like, I can't stress this enough, as long as you don't come off as like a disgruntled customer and be like, hey, you know how much I paid for this? This is how it comes to me. Like, just don't be that person, as long as you're like, hey, I like how this turned out. There is this one thing though about it. It doesn't affect it in any way at all. But is there something that we can do, or whatever? Just like ask, because if not,
I think most builders are like that. Right? Their instruments represent them.
Yes,
and
exactly.
so they don't want you showing other people like, hey, this is an ukulele that I got from so and so, and then other people noticing that and like They would rather you say something, and then they can fix it, or if it's okay. Like,
yes, because they'll be like, don't tell people that.
Yeah,
like, if you just told us, we would have fixed it, and Now it's on Ukulele on the Ground podcast, and everyone knows.
Jim in the chat, like he brings up a good point too. He says that natural timbre always has variations that might be considered by some as faults. So that's where, if you're gonna send them like an email or something, maybe you want to take pictures of it too. Yeah. Because then they might look at it and they might be like, "Oh no, that's that's
just how it is." But if she's saying it's noticeable, it's kind of big.
Yeah, and if it's on your neck too, it shouldn't be something on your neck. It should be smooth on your neck.
So that's what I advise. I advise letting them know and seeing if there is something that you can do about it. If there is not a thing that you can do about it, then it's just chalk up to character. It's just like Kahai said, it could have been from anything. It might not have even been from them. If it doesn't affect your sound or playability, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But see if you can do something. But if not, then it's gotta.
I was telling somebody too, like, that it is pretty fun to own a ukulele. That it's not that you don't care about the ukulele or own an instrument. It's just that playing it is more important to you than like, I gotta keep it in the most pristine condition, right? And it's like we call them like beater ukes, right? Yeah. But like, even if you enjoy playing a uke and it's like question yourself, like, do I like playing this uke or do I like looking at this uke? Like, is the beauty more important to it than me playing it? So if playing it is okay and you want to keep it, you still want to keep it in good condition, but maybe don't put too much pressure on that whole like, I gotta
pristine.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a scratch or there's a bump or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think musicians, we part of playing our instruments is using them, and it is wear and tear to that too.
Yeah, every time I get an ukulele from Uncle Joe Souza of Ukulele, the first thing he tells me, like, here you go, bust them up. And I'm like, Joe, don't tell me that, because I'm like the most careless person ever, And I do bust them up, and he's just like, well, that's what I told you, so I guess I can't complain when I bring him something like, hey, dude, this happened, or whatever, And he's like, well, I maybe made a mistake when I told you to bust him up. But it's one of those things. He kind of likes it because he knows that I've been playing my ukulele, I've been giving it some love and stuff. So that's just that happens. In your case, I know that's not the case in your case, but it's one of those, it'll happen eventually anyway. Yeah, like you will get wear and tear on on an instrument. It sucks that like it's already happened and you didn't do it, and it's just like it came like that. And I feel you, but yeah, see what they can do. They most manufacturers, most builders will want to protect their reputation and see if they can help you out.
Yeah.
I think most of them do. Like I don't know of anyone. Maybe like if they just mass produce stuff, maybe they're just like, oh,
but
it's
even
just from the line.
Even the mass produced guys, they would rather like replace it just so that
it's easy. Yeah. Like, here you go. Here's a better
we have one exactly like that, so we'll just swap it out for yours, and then you can be happy showing it to people, and it doesn't risk our reputation.
And if you bought your uke from somebody like NAMM or the ukulele site, I know for sure like those guys, you ask them about something and they'll be like, yeah, you can send it back and I'll try and fix it, or I'll try and help you out. We've heard the lengths that they've gone through to try and like, we want you to get the ukulele that you think you deserve or that you are expecting. So
yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. So there you go. That's what we suggest you do. All right. So Kahai, we are live going on right now, right? So people can ask us questions via chat. We are answering questions that we got emails about, and we answered that one question from last week and stuff. But do we have any questions from our live chat?
I don't think so. Not currently. So if anybody wants to leave a question in the chat, they can.
Yeah. So most of them, I'm guessing, is just kind of talking about the question that we just got asked. Okay, cool. Ask us whatever you guys want. But for now, let's go to another question, Kahai.
Yeah. So this one is from Joko again.
Okay.
And he kind of, because last week we had the songwriting challenge, and it was like, you had to fill in the blank, and we gave an example of like 2-5-1.
Yes.
But you fill in the blank for 2. So he asked, the 1 is the root note of the key. How do you know what key a song is in? Whatever the first chord, I'm guessing he's asking, is it whatever the first chord is? But it doesn't seem like it's like this 99% of the time. I know theoretically that songs don't need to start with the 1, but if someone asked me to explain why, I wouldn't know how. What's the deal with the 1 being out of position like that?
Okay. So this is like a music theory question. It's actually a very simple, very basic music theory question. And we talked about music theory last week about like chord families and things like that. And that's how you can find out what key a song is in. So finding the root, which is the key, basically 1, in a 2-5-1, that 1 is the is the root note, and then based on that root note, that's the chord that you play. So if 2-5-1 in the key of C is going to be D minor, G, and C, right? So D minor, G major, and C major. And even though it starts out in a D minor, that song is in the key of C. So you're correct in the sense that like it doesn't have to start with the
can maybe can Aaron play like a D minor, G, C, and can you just like play the C scale to show how like even though it starts on D minor, you can play you're still basing it off of the C major scale and the C major key, right?
Okay, I mean, yeah, we can kind of show that. You want to play that for me here?
What is it?
So D minor, 2-5-1, C. Oh, getting fancy here. Because if I were to keep going, if I were to play D minor in that, it wouldn't like really match. So here's D minor scale. So that's not it. That 2-5-1 is specifically in the key of C. And if you know music theory, and I feel like this is going to be the answer to all your future questions later, is if you learn music theory right off the bat, the first thing you're going to learn is major scales, right? And based on those major scales, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, those each one of those scales is going to have a chord family attached to it because of the key, right? So we're in C, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and C. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And each one of those numbers has a corresponding chord to it based on the chord family. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 4, 5 are going to be majors, 2, 3, 6 are going to be minors. So it's going to be C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished because the 7 is a diminished chord, C. Okay, so that 2-5-1 is specific to the key of C. Now, if you're like, how do I tell people what key a song is in? Like, think of all the chords. Every single key, as long as you're playing in the chord family, is going to have 3 unique major chords and 3 unique minor chords that are attached to it. So if you're in the key of G, for example, you have the majors G, D, and C. No other key is going to have those 3 main major players in it. Okay, only the key of G is going to have that. Sure, you can have the chords G, D, and C, but they're not going to be the 1, 4, and 5. So it's gonna, the more I get into that, the more it's gonna get more complicated. Just know that those three majors are unique to the key of G. Just like in the key of C, C, F, and G are unique to that key. Just like in F, B flat, and C are unique to that key. So 1, 4, 5, the majors are going to only be specific chords for a specific key. All right. So if you know the song and someone's like, "What key is this song in?" Even if it doesn't start in a 1, as long as you know the chords and which chord family those chords belong to, that's how you get the key. Don't worry about roots. Don't worry about anything like that. Look at the chords. What chords you're given.
For like that example, D minor, G, and C.
Right.
So
you got half.
You know that it's not. Yeah. You know that it's not the key of D minor.
No.
Right, because you played the D minor scale. Yes. And then what if you assume that it's in the key of G? Instead?
It's not in the key of G either, because D is major.
Because D is major in the key of G. So basically, you would have to know your chord families. Mm-hmm. So you can take all of the chords that are in the song, and then find a chord family that has all of those
in there.
Those chords in it, and then you find out what
key you're in, really, because those are unique to those those specific keys. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and I think saying like, well, you can know that it's not in G, right? But you can also, if you're not sure, like I don't know, like this kind of has chords from here and it kind of has chords from here, but I'm not really sure which one exactly it is. I should be doing it. Like the last song challenge we did, right? I made chords, but I was like, I don't know what key it is. So that's why I asked you, like, can you figure out what key it's in? And then you tried several different keys, right? Like you kind of just played over it. So if you're like, doing that same example of like D minor, G, C, and you're thinking maybe it's in the G major, just try and play like a G major scale over it,
Yeah.
And you'll probably find that it's like, oh, it's pretty close, but there's like one note that doesn't fit, or there's a few notes that don't fit. Same thing with that D minor scale, right? Too. Yeah. That's why it's like, oh, there like a few notes do fit, but then these other notes do not fit. So I should kind of mark this off. And when you find like, when you land on the C major scale, it's like, okay, all of these notes pretty much fit no matter what chord is being played.
Yeah,
and it'll feel okay. So.
And I don't want to confuse you any further, because like you could be in the key of G and you could have a D minor in there, but there are specific special rules in order to kind of cram the D minor in there. So don't worry about it, but just know that, because I want to cover my bases, because people are like, what about this song that has this D minor in there? It's a key of G. To those people, I'm like, hey, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. There's special rules that made that happen, okay? But if we're talking about just plain, very basic music theory, okay? That's D minor, not in the key of G. Yeah. Like that's just flat out, not in the key of G. Because F should be an F sharp. Because G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that F natural is not in that scale.
Yeah, and like
that's the note in
and D minor. That's not. That's why. Oh, so, thank you.
So basically, like what as far as just learning basic music theory, you would start in the order of like learning your major and minor scales.
Yes.
First, like how do you get a major scale? How do you get a minor scale? And then from that you can figure out the chord families, and then from there you can analyze songs and find a key that has the chords that you're trying to figure out what key it is.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, really, because when you break it down, there's 3 majors and 3 minors in a family.
In any chord family.
And those 3 majors and minors reflect upon each other because they're all related. So really, there's really only 3, like 3 chords. Like that's unique to each. Unique to each key, right? So that C, F, G in the key of C can be A minor, D minor, E minor, because those are the relative minors to those majors, which are related to each other. So once you figure out 3, you figure out the entire key already. If you just give me 3 major chords, I'll tell you it's in this key, like straight up.
And if you want like a quick reference, we have our circle of fifths with the chord family generator that you can print out and make for yourself. And then that's like a quick, like it's like a cheat sheet basically. Yes. So I think I might have it on my desk. It's not the nicest. Is it all over there?
Yes. Yeah. Have it. Oh, this has seen some
days.
It's seen some days. So here's our little cheat sheet. So so just put whatever key that you have right here on top. So in this case, I guess Aaron was looking at a D flat key, which is crazy. So let's go to our C. Okay, I'm gonna go C here. So I'm putting C right in the middle. Okay, the C is right in the middle there. There's your F and there's your G, and then across from it are the corresponding minors. Okay, and then the diminished back here. Okay, and that's it. That's how you can figure out what key you're in. I would not. Here's one piece of advice though. I would not overcomplicate it, because it seems like you're trying to overcomplicate things. Be like, okay, well then 2-5-1 and this and that and whatever. Like,
can you give an example of like, say the chords of a song, and then use that in order to figure out what key it is.
Okay, so like, let's just take if somebody gave me D minor G C, right? So I don't have the third one.
I mean, use a different example.
Okay.
Why don't Aaron grab why don't you give Aaron the wheel, and then Aaron can turn to a random one and he'll tell you what chords.
You pick some chords of a song and then figure it out using that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's do B minor E A.
Okay.
B minor E A.
So the chords for the song are B minor E A.
B minor E A, which is another 2-5-1. That's what it is.
And then,
okay. So I'm gonna have to look for where A and B minor are going to be in an E. So I'm looking for, there's my E and there's the A. The A showed up. Let me see if I can put the E in, because there's a B. So this B is not minor. So that means it can't be the key of E. Okay? So if I just turn one more time here, so too much. So there's that A. Oh, sorry, A. Then I have that E, and I have this B minor down here. There it is, so you can see it. That's all right, don't need to cover it. There, B minor. So that's...
So it has to be the key of A, because if you turn it one more, it's gonna cover up the E.
Yeah, it's cover up the E. Then you don't have an E anymore. So then that's not gonna be it. So it's that easy. Okay, using this anyway.
That's why it's like a cheat sheet.
A cheat sheet. Okay, so going back to let's focus on that. So B minor, D, B minor, E, and A. Okay, is what I said, right? B minor, E, A. Now, based on what I said earlier, that there are like chords that kind of mirror each other. I hope this doesn't confuse people even more. But relative majors and relative minors are a thing in a key. Remember I said there's really only 3 chords? That B minor can be interpreted as a D major, because that is its counterpart. Basically, that's its relative major to the B minor. The B minor's relative major is, Kahai?
B minor.
B minor's relative major?
D major.
D major. So now I have a D major, I have an A and an E, because I said B minor, E, A, right? So now I have 3 major chords. Bam! Isn't that the 3 major chords right there? Is this your card, Kahai?
Voila.
Voila! Okay, same thing is in D minor. Okay, so, or like that C that we talked about earlier, D minor, G, C. So D minor, relative major to D minor, Kahai, is?
F.
F. So instead of D minor, G, C, we have F, G, C. Is this your card? Yeah. Then you're the key of C. It's really that simple. Even if you get, minors and stuff, if you change it into its relative major, that gives you the, the 3 majors that you need.
Yeah. Jim kind of he mentioned this too. He said, don't try to analyze complicated songs first. Stick with uncomplicated songs, less than 5 or 6 different chords. And it's not bad if you recognize or you look at complicated songs, but that is where it's like people use oh, this chord is not in the key, or this is, this chord is a flat 7, sharp 5 and stuff. And people are like, what is this? It's like, well, you gotta, if you learn kind of the basic names of the songs and the basic ideas, shapes of songs,
chords.
Then
chords.
Or like I think just in general, right? So like a song can have a very basic, the 2-5-1 is very basic, and then people take that and they make it more complicated. But then when you kind of like take it back down to is like, okay, they added all these 7th chords on there. They added
9s and 13s and
well, the extensions
11s.
are just extensions onto the majors and minors.
And take all that out.
And they can even like, we have Mike come on, right?
Yeah.
And he says like, oh, you can do chord substitutions, you can change the key into this and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you just like skim it back down to it's like what it was originally, it's like, oh, it's just a 2-5-1 song. So that's why it's like, I can understand like people want to get out and they want to play fun songs, but try and look for songs that are like, oh, this sticks to one key and it uses 5 chords.
Don't run before you can walk, right, Kahai? Is that what you're trying to say?
Are you trying to say the magic term, right? Where it's like, don't run if you're not being chased.
Oh no, I meant like don't run if you can't walk yet. Is it like do these things first and then do these things?
Yeah, so I remember when I first started learning ukulele and guitar, I guess, well, just music in general. I was really into music from like the 1950s.
Okay.
So that and Hawaiian music. I was into Hawaiian music and stuff from the 1950s. Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't all just that 1-6-4-5. Like,
there's major 2s in there, every now and then.
There's other, but I mean, but it was because I just stuck to those genres. It was easy for me to figure out just major keys. Because it's pretty straightforward. All of that stuff was pretty straightforward, and then I didn't even learn it from a music theory standpoint. I just started playing those songs and then started in my own head seeing like, oh, these chords always show up together. Yeah. And then you group those chords together and that's how you get chord families.
Yeah. So, I remember the same thing where it's like, I was like, why do I always play these chords together? And then it's like, and I play these same shapes, but they're up and down the neck. Yeah. And it's like, I'm playing the same thing, but they're in different keys, but they sound kind of the same, So it's like, that's where it's too, like, if people who are new to ukulele, they kind of see like music theory and they jump on it and they're like, oh, I want to learn all these things and I want to dissect it and I want it to make sense to me. And my sister, she was like, oh yeah, like music theory helps me understand music because otherwise it just seems like magic. It just seems like you pull it out of the thin air, right?
Because sometimes music is magic, Some Hendrix chord stuff, they were like, that's sorcery.
Well, we can get into an explanation for it, but it's like super complicated, or it's like, at that point, it's like, is the explanation really worth it? It just sounds good, right? Yeah. But that's kind of the thing too, is that when you're learning these things, so when you're learning songs, like really try and instead of like analyzing and saying like, okay, this chord, it has a name. Its name is C major. I know that its name is C major. Like try and take it in through like, I know a chord because I know how it sounds like, right? I know these major chords because I know what major chords sound like. I know minor chords because I know what minor chords sound like. And that's where I feel like when you gotta figure out like a key, when somebody's playing a song and they're like, oh, jump in, and you're listening for stuff. You're not really thinking about like, oh, is it the 2-5-1? Is it major minor? Is it these things? You just hear like your references from before. You're just like, oh, I kind of know this sound, so I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna play it. Like I doubt like when you're playing a 2-5-1, right, Aldrine? Do you think like, oh, it's 2-5-1, or do you think more like, oh, this is like Sunday morning, or this is like
have an association. Yeah.
Or these shapes
go together.
And so it's where you can. That's where it's like even like people are like, oh, how do you know you can play this thing with this other?
Yeah, because it kind of sounds like this other song.
I know it from another song, and I know it works with these chords, so I'm just gonna tack it on.
In that case, what do you think? Should you just learn how to play songs first?
Yes. Yes, because I think music theory explains the whys of why you're doing things. But if you haven't been doing things yet and you're trying to explain why before, it's kind of like, and I always make that reference of like reading a book on how to swim kind of thing, like until you're like, you go out like to the pool and like and move your arms around, like all this theories is gonna be like, okay, well then what about this? Well, what about moving your arms this way or whatever, then you go out and you try it and then you see why you don't move your arm like a certain way or kick a certain way or whatever.
The rules explain the thing.
Yes, but you got to do the thing first.
to kind of intuitive, you have to. Part of you has to kind of intuitively understand it first.
In Jocko's like explanation, he said like he's like a English teacher, and he kind of like he said, oh, is it like writing an essay, and you want your like one chord to be your opening sentence and everything. But I think it's like
no.
You're trying
straight up no.
Well, you're trying to get to that, right? Yeah. Like you're trying to get to the level of like, oh, I'm writing an essay or I'm doing like complicated like English structure. But when you're thinking about it, really you should be focusing on like it's kind of like learn your alphabets first and learn your words, right? Because it's even if you like you tell a person in like 5th grade or whatever, oh, your first sentence of your essay has to be like this. It like doesn't matter if they don't know what words to use, right? Like, oh, I just want to say that I like my dog and my dog was happy today. It's like, that's kind of what you have to learn first before it's like, what's your opening argument and then how are you going to support that? It's like that'll come later if you want to get into it, but make sure you know how to spell and write things out first. First you want to get a sentence and then it'll come to
it's
like,
more like that.
Oh, is this a fancy sentence? Is this how does this work within the whole paragraph? How does this work within the whole song? You can get into it, but for now just focus on I'm just learning these sentences.
Just learn how to spell words. Cat for now. Get the fundamentals down.
I think that's how we all learned, right?
Yeah.
Just start playing songs and then start picking some stuff, and then you'll notice that some notes always happen together, like shapes of scales just kind of come about.
It just sounds like it's being overcomplicated. Like I mentioned earlier, I think. It's the trying to run before you can walk kind of thing. Like just walk for now. Enjoy walking. Like walking is fun. It's great and stuff. You don't even have to run. Like running is not even like a thing that you need. Run. But like make sure you like you get your fundamentals. You get the playing part down first, and then once you kind of get that, and you can, like Aaron said, you can intuitively put things together. And I think that's when you can start to break things down. But even when you're breaking things down, break down the simpler stuff first before you can get to that.
When did you start learning music theory?
Pretty early. Like I want to say 9th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. That's like.
But it was through band or what?
It was band because like we were forced to know all our scales by memory. By Mr. Mac, but he was like a slave driver.
But then, how does that apply to ukulele? When did you figure out scales on ukulele?
I mean, like if I'm playing, I remember actually, I was doing what's that song called? I'll Be Your Baby Tonight. Yeah. So I was trying to figure out this song or picking that song by just listening to it, okay?
Yeah.
And then I remember I was trying to explain it to my friend Kaniho, who you guys have seen on some of the videos, because we were on the phone together. And that's what you kids did back then, right? Like you're just on the phone with your friend, and he's like, "Can you teach me that song?" I was like, "Over the phone? Like I don't know how to how am I gonna do this? Like this string, this fret, or whatever." Yeah. And I'm just like, you know what? I think this song is in the key of F. Then like my band, my band mentality kind of just went in. I'm like, okay, how about this? Here are the notes. We're gonna be just using those notes. There's no notes that we're not gonna use that's not in there. Okay. So then he's like, okay, let's okay. So based on that, we're gonna go. It's like we're just gonna play F and every single note in the key of F, and that's how I associated the scales to what I was playing on my ukulele and how I was explaining it to my friend, basically.
Yeah,
but just to make this long story short, huh?
You learned the picking first.
Yeah, I knew the picking,
but you just didn't. So
I didn't know how to explain it to
exactly.
To random.
So that's it, right? You figured out the picking by ear.
By ear.
And you then played around with it,
broke it down using my music theory.
In order to communicate that to someone else, that's why you needed the music theory. Kind of. Otherwise,
it would just been long. You'd be like, okay, E string first fret, because if it's like, okay, that we're only going to be using 1 3 0 1 3 0 1 3 5 7 8, which is F, G, A, B, flat, C, D, E, F. So then I can just kind of tell him, okay, so it's like A, B flat, C, A, C, D, or whatever it's going to be. Like I'm just going to tell him the notes. So he doesn't need to know. And if I say B, he knows exactly what I mean.
Instead of
it's a B flat,
B flat,
just take B or whatever, or B flat. And then it was just a lot easier to explain it. And I was like, why don't I just do everything like this? And from then, once I made that connection of like, it's the key of F. So I apply that same knowledge, like, let's check out Opihi Man. I am playing everything in the key of, I'm playing all the notes in the key of G. Like, it is the key of G. Then I did surf and I did everything, from there, I'm like, oh man, everything just kind of fits. But I was doing those already. I already knew the picking to Opihi Man. I already knew the picking to surf. I didn't need, music theory to figure it out by ear, but then using my ear kind of allows me to like break down that, that picking. And every other picking that I've learned after that, because I remember my first big hurdle, which was Olinda Road. It's a little bit more complicated. So it's not like it's a Kyle Creator Boy songs, which just kind of follows the melody line and stuff. It's like a big major ukulele solo picking kind of things. And I'm like, okay, well, what key is this in? It's an F. Okay, so I can only really play these. And I'm like, okay, he's doing harmonies, like third harmonies. So that music theory kicked in once again. Like, okay,
so
all right. So I knew now.
Harmony. Yeah.
Like I did I just put all of that together. I'm like, I got this. And that's how I tackled every single song after that. Body surfing, everything. It's just because of my knowledge of music theory that made everything a lot simpler.
Yeah, I think it's like you need a base level of ability.
Yes.
Before music theory becomes even helpful.
I guess.
So even even thinking about that, how long were you? So you said like 9th grade, right?
Yeah.
How long were you just playing music before then? When did you start playing music?
I started playing when I was in 3rd grade.
So like
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years of playing. Just playing whatever I was told to play.
And that's kind of why like people, they're like, I've been playing for 3 years and I'm trying to do music theory. Or not 3 years, but I've been playing for 3 months.
3 months.
I'm trying to do music
trying to do this. It's like, well, just get the playing part down first, and then you can explain the why you're playing these certain things.
Yeah, and then that will once you get to that point, then it might help you to elevate your playing beyond that.
Yes.
But before that, it's not really helpful at all. I still I understand a lot of music theory stuff, but I'm not good enough to really make it. Yeah, because
with Randall's case, or Kaniho's, sorry, Kaniho's case, he was part of chorus. The choral.
So he understood.
So he understood music theory as well.
Yeah.
So he knew like, okay, F, here are the notes and stuff. 1 flat, B flat. Or whatever, and if we were to put it on our ukulele, E string first fret, F, then G, A, B, B flat, C, D, E, F. He knew, I could communicate with my friend over the phone, teach him this song via music theory. That's basically what that story is about.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it's like a language, right? So you need to be able to hear the language and then just be able to speak it, and then you can learn how to write and communicate in
because I remember that there's that part
in theory.
I didn't have to tell him it's this note, this note, this note. I would just tell him like, okay, well then now you're gonna go up the scale.
Or just follow the scale up.
Yes.
And back
that was like what really clicked. We're like, oh, I don't gotta go C string, then second fret, then open, first, third, open, first, third again. I can just be like, okay, starting from C, you're gonna go up to the C up here using the F major scale.
Yeah.
Then go back down and then the D. So that's all I had to say, you know, like I didn't have to be like this note and that note and this note. It's like go up, F. We're gonna keep F. Just do F. Go up, then go back down.
So I can imagine people watching or listening right now. They might be like, so that means that I should learn music theory, and then so when somebody tries to teach me using music theory, it'll be easier. It's like, yeah, kind of, but like. Yeah. What Randall knew was how to play an F scale. Like that's like what helped him, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and you getting that basis first. And kind of like what Aaron was saying, like it's a language, right? When you're learning to babble, like if there's a baby, right? And it's just trying to learn how to say, you know, mom, dad, how helpful is it to tell that baby? Now you gotta understand
prepositions.
Exactly.
There's a certain sentence structure.
Don't put it in that order.
Oh no, son. That's not proper grammar. We do not speak like that, right? You just want them to be like, ah, you know. Like my nephew, he's over 1.5 right now, and he just, you know, like we're just really happy whenever he says something like, you know, he's like ga. And it's like, oh, he's talking about grandma. He's trying to say grandma, right? It's like, oh yeah, he's getting it. He's learning it. And so, don't be so hard on yourself if you're learning ukulele and you're as an adult, you're like, I don't understand. Like, shouldn't I get these things? But it's like you're learning a new language and you're starting off as a baby, right?
Yeah.
So take those baby steps first, and
and that's hard for people though.
It's tough, especially, you know, like if he mentioned he's an English teacher, so it's like I should have like this kind of mental capacity, like in order to understand this stuff. So I'm gonna do music theory so I can understand. It's like, no, you gotta
jump in at a high level.
You gotta start with the basics. With the
we notice a lot of people, especially professionals, like if they have a professional career, doctors, lawyers, and stuff,
teachers.
If they jump into ukulele, they like overthink things immediately.
Yes. So just don't skip the fun. Like that's the thing. Like, don't skip the fun. The fun part is like, you know, like the learning and just like playing songs. Like playing songs. Don't gotta do a deep dive into like the this chord to what you call island style is this, and the you know.
Yeah, but why? Why are those chords?
Just play island style. Like just play island style. That's fun. Like because it's fun. Play it just because the song is good.
if you consider like why are we playing music, right?
Yeah.
It's because we're trying to express our emotions. So it's like really try and get that first. And me and Aaron were talking about this earlier. Like, don't overlook just listening to music and listening and enjoying music first.
Yeah.
People say like when you ask them like, oh, do you listen to music? They're like, yeah, I listen to music on the radio or whatever. But it's like, are you like driving while listening to music? Or are you like doing something else? How much of the time of your day do you just sit down and listen to a song and like, dang, I really like this song, and I'm like taking the song entirely, and you know, I'm trying to get it into me. So it's like, just take the time to really, if you're playing a song and you're playing with ukulele, take the time to listen and be like, am I playing the same thing on ukulele as the song is playing? And once you I feel like once you hear that you're lined up, and you're just like, oh, my timing is the same and the chords are matching, is like, I don't think you forget that feeling. And after that, that's kind of like what we're all like chasing after, right? I just want to.
And that's what makes you stick with it.
Being able to create music, beautiful music.
Or like, I love this. I love listening to this song. I want to play this song. And I think that's, we're all just like, looking for I'm looking for the next song that I want to play.
Yeah. And that's why so much people like want to learn like things like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, like things like, White Sandy Beach, is because they have a connection with the instrument to those songs. It's like, that sounded good. I want to be able to reproduce that on my own, like recreate that song with with my hands and my voice and stuff. And we get it. And that's why like those songs are great to kind of learn right off the bat, because you have that instant connection and instant happiness, like when you finally like, oh man, I finally got it, I can play the entire song like that. You don't worry about music theory, like when you're just learning the song. It's not like I want to keep going,
point. But you got the main point.
Okay,
like, or I was gonna say, like, we did the challenge, right, where you went out and we told you, teach 5 people on the street.
Yeah,
and you can see how happy they are when you just teach them just the way you are,
or happy birthday.
And they're strumming like with you, right? And you can see that connection where it's like, oh yes, like I finally got it. So that's all you want to do.
Don't skip the fun, and don't run before you can walk. Like really, that's walking is awesome, fun is awesome. Just do that. Don't overcomplicate things. These are our best advices for today, at least.
The hard things, the complicated things will come with time, but you don't have to feel like do it right now.
Focus on the playing. Focus on the playing first. Focus on playing good and playing well. He's an English teacher. You know what I mean?
He can nitpick all of our grammar now.
He's gonna be like, oh well, play good, play well. There you go.
I'm not gonna take the suggestions from these boys who barely speak English.
English is my second language. I always have to remind people that. It's just you gotta have a little mercy on a little Filipino boy.
And Pidgin English is your third language.
My third language. Actually, English is my fourth language. I learned Tagalog, I learned Ilocano, and I learned Visayan first, and then I learned English. So,
and
if I say I want to play good, I'm gonna say I want to play good.
You didn't learn English from like the highest level of English speakers.
The highest level. I learned it from the streets.
You learned it from a place where it's like all these people are speaking other languages, and they're like, we gotta like make a way to kind of converse with each other. So
Aldrine learned it in Manila.
I learned it in the streets of Sesame.
The hard streets of Sesame.
Yeah, the streets. Oh man, there were monsters everywhere. There was, pretty diverse street. I liked it.
So even Pidgin English is like
it's like my fifth language. Because people are like, oh, that's just 3 dialects of Filipino. It's like, they're very different. Like those 3 Filipino dialects are completely different with their own rules and way they say things. It's pretty complicated. And because my mom is a native Visayan speaker, my dad is a native Ilocano speaker, and I was born in Manila. So I was forced to understand. I mean, everyone basically is forced to understand and learn Tagalog, but they have their own language from where they came from. And then I was exposed to a lot of Ilocano when I moved here, because the Ilocano community in Hawaii in general. That's why a lot of like back in the 90s, like a lot of the stereotypes were all Ilocano stereotypes. So me coming in from Manila, like I didn't have that Ilocano accent or nothing like that. And people are like, what? I thought you were from the Philippines. Where's the accent at? I'm like, we don't have that. I'm not from Ilocos. My dad has that. All right, I want to get to this before we move on. Rob sent us something really nice. The guys. Here's the guys, and it's got little musical notes in it. All right. Oh, it's like Lone Wolf and Cub, or what's that comic? But yeah, it's like a mama wolf and a baby. It's like me and you, Kahai, a little baby wolf.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I meant to look inside here first and then read this note.
I think you can read it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's read the note. It says, "Aloha. This carrot habanero hot sauce was gifted to my office. Figuring that you have probably never had a healthy carrot hot sauce, I am passing it to you for your review." Rob. Oh, okay. Oh. Healthy hot sauce. Carrot habanero pepper sauce. This sounds good, actually. Okay, so next time we're going to try this out. I'm gonna have to bring back the boot-shaped chickens and try out this very special sauce. Okay, so thank you so much, Rob. It's a chaya tacos sauce, carrot habanero pepper sauce. I'm excited. I'm kind of curious as how the carrot. Because carrot is more on the sweet side.
Yeah, is it going to come through?
Yeah, is the carrot going to come through, or is the habanero just going to be punching the carrot, in the face? So I'm very, very, very curious. I'm stoked. I'm stoked for this, and I'm stoked that you didn't give me like a burn the butt kind of, pucker butt hot sauce. Yeah, because people tend to want to just keep one upping. Like, I wonder if Aldrine can handle this or whatever. Like this,
the bomb.
Yeah, this sounds like it's gonna be fun. I mean, that was fun too, but they're in a different kind of way. So I'm stoked. We'll try this out next week, right, Kahai? When we do our songs. The songs are due next week, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you very much, Rob, for this awesome hot sauce and the nice message. You guys are always too kind to us. We appreciate all of your gifts. If anyone wants to send a gift to us, Kahai, they can send it over to this address that we're going to show right now on their screen, right, Kahai? This one that we're about to pull up right now will go.
Is this one, right?
Yes, okay. That one. There it is. Yeah. Ukulele on the Ground, P.O. Box 1027, Koloa, Hawaii 96756. Ukulele on the Ground. You can do care of, like C.O. Aldrine Guerrero, P.O. Box 1027, Koloa, Hawaii 96756. That's basically my P.O. box. So if you want to send me personal letters and stuff, you can send it to that. It'll go directly to me. I think Rob sent it over to you, Aaron. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's, like other addresses and stuff, but this is the one. This is the official address for just sending us, just like mail to do for the show. The other one is a little bit more professional, but this one right here, send it to this address if you guys want to send us anything, hot sauces that we that we should try. What else? Like, I guess local snacks that you guys want us to check out on air, or we had that maple candy that we promoted that one time. That was really cool. So if there's anything that you guys want to promote, or it doesn't even have to be edible, I'm talking food, but you guys can send us whatever you want. We got sent those awesome figures back there, so pretty much a lot of the stuff back here minus the CDs are gifts to us, right?
And Manny,
and Manny,
so even like we would be happy to even if you guys send just postcards, right?
We'll put the postcards back here, and we'll we'll
figure out
there's like so much stuff back there that I can't even. If you've been a follower of Ukulele on the Ground, long enough, you're gonna know that all of these are super meaningful. Like every single thing in the background here, we made sure to pack in as much Easter eggs as possible in the background. Yeah, Kahai, what's your favorite Easter egg back there?
Favorite Easter egg back there?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Lego figs
that
you can't really. It's even hard to see on camera. So
from NAMM.
From NAMM, the NAMM Legos. It's good times. Good times. That's when we used to attend NAMM, which we might be attending again. I thought we were done, but no.
Someone might twist our arm.
To come back to
do our NAMM coverage again.
What?
I mean, they didn't do it this year, right? NAMM, like the winter NAMM.
I thought you meant they as in they,
yes,
but there's NAMM in general.
Yeah, I don't think NAMM was held this year, right?
Yeah. Well, when is summer NAMM too? Because
Nashville?
I don't think
maybe July.
I'm not sure. I don't know if they're gonna do that even, right? Like that's probably gonna.
You can't have that many people in the Anaheim Convention Center and be safe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
just
a
right
responsible
now,
thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think the next NAMM that they put up, we might
in person.
Have to be there in person. But we love NAMM actually. I'm just joking. We actually really love NAMM. We love seeing the people over at NAMM. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, NAMM is the Kahai.
National
Association for Music Merchants.
Yes, it is. They basically show off all the new like musical instrument models and musical instrument accessories and things, just music in general. So we try to update you guys with with all the latest and stuff. And we used to do that, but we stopped doing so because everyone does coverage, like you don't need ours anymore. Like there's so much better coverage out there.
Yeah.
But there's some the circumstances have arisen that we'll give you guys more information later. But for now, just don't worry about
it. We like going to NAMM, right, and hanging out with everybody.
Yeah,
like,
it's nice to see people.
Fun, so,
no, it's also nice to see like the new products and stuff. Like it was cool. That's how we learned about like the Taylor ukulele and and a lot of the experimental stuff that that's kind of come out. So now there's like so much ukuleles that have come out like since we left NAMM that I have no idea about. Like Flight's been like a big thing, But I remember going to the Flight booth and I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
when they were just starting.
Yeah,
out.
but I guess if you have enough money to be like, I'm gonna sponsor this person and that person, and then they'll have enough input to make good ukes. I guess I don't know. It's been a while, So things like that where like. My opinions of products are like are kind of outdated, so I'm kind of excited to go back and check them out for myself because I don't know. Sometimes people tell me like this uke is the best, and I try it. I'm like,
that's also
what's going on with this, with this ukulele.
Besides ukes, we also get like remember like I think the last time we went, everybody was like, oh, have you seen the magnetic tuner?
Yeah,
and that was kind of like the hot thing that people were like. That's pretty cool. Like that's a cool idea to put a tuner just on your tuning pegs, right? Like you don't need a clip even. So
some cool stuff. You know, that was fun. That was with Kyle, right?
Yeah.
I miss Kyle. He's
we should get Kyle.
He's Legoed back there. Yeah, he's Legoed. So that's part of it now. So that's a good one, Kai. That's a good little Easter egg back there. Let's see, my favorite Easter egg, the automaton, sent to us by Craig Chi. So much memories with that automaton, let's just say.
There's actually a lot of stuff on the set, right? Sent from Craig Chi.
Yeah. That Pixapals Ken is right next to it.
Yeah.
Quick story about that. So here, that's the automaton. Like let's see if I can, this way. This big tall thing right here that I'm pointing to, that's the automaton. Next to it, right here, is a figure of Ken from Street Fighter. So quick, fun, interesting story. Craig, he used to just be like in like Eugene, Oregon, doing his ukulele lessons there, and didn't really get out much,
Yeah, he didn't travel, he didn't tour.
And I was really good at Street Fighter. So, that's from Street Fighter. I'm like, Craig, if you can beat me just one time out of the 20 times that we're going to play, you can come on tour with us.
Because we were going through Eugene.
Yes, through Eugene. Tour. And gosh darn it, he beat me. And that, was a turning point in his career. We took him out, showed him the ropes, and now he's doing the Ukulele Festival of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Man,
now
so
he's heading up.
That's his thing. He's the director of the Ukulele Festival of Hawaii. So man, something as small as that's like kind of a reminder of like, oh yeah, that wasn't a little tournament that we had, and you beat me.
That's why, if Aldrine ever challenges you to Street Fighter or Mario Kart or whatever,
it's a trap.
You should always accept because you never know.
You never know.
You
just never know if there's gonna be that one. Because it's like out of 20, I lost once, and that was enough. That's like according to our rules, it's like just one.
He was gloating too.
Yeah. That was good, and I think he deserved it. And I think people, needed to find out about Craig Chi anyway. Yeah. And it was nice to, to kind of introduce him to, to the world. It was cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. We claim Craig, Baby Bird.
All the work that he did since then, like we can't claim.
Yeah, we can't claim that. No, just that right there. Just introduce the introduction. But so that's the fun little thing. Every little thing back there. That my second favorite is that picture frame over there. That's from Korea. A Korean fan made that picture frame for us. And interesting. Cool. That's shout outs to what's her name? Seoul. Yeah, Seoul Yoon. Yeah. Shout out to Seoul. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, we do have Aloha Friday live jam tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be our live coaching as well. Pretty soon, we're working on the scheduling. We're going to have Jake Shimabukuro on, so make sure you guys send us questions for when we have Jake Shimabukuro on our little podcast, the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. What else? We have a brand new lesson that just came out last week. Make sure you check that out as well. That is Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak, and Bruno Mars. What else?
Next week, I'm gonna try and get a solo out. We'll see how fast I can do that.
Man, okay. Whoa, you said it now. I didn't say it. You proclaimed that.
Yeah. Well, I tried to get it out on the 15th. But if it falls on the 16th, we'll see.
And that is my fault, actually, because Kahai thought we were going to film it last week, and I did not. I was preoccupied with some stuff. My mind's been all sorts of jumbled lately.
It's okay. I was knocked out cold from my vaccine
Johnson
shot.
Johnson. Yeah, man. JJ, you're one and done, man.
Yep.
I got one more, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So, stay safe out there. Have fun, everyone. Aloha. Play your uke. Don't skip the fun.